What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about Mass Effect Legendary Edition changing some spicy scenes, spicy angles, however you want. I got to be careful with the words here. I know IGN used a different word as well, but I want to talk about what exactly they are changing in regards to Legendary Edition and talk about if it's necessary. This may, I guess, step into a little bit of controversial water, so we'll just have to, be very careful about it, right? And as always, right, opinions are completely okay. If you guys don't agree with my opinion, or you have your own opinion, that's completely fine, okay? Before I read the IGN article talking about this, I do just want to say, make sure, as always, you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And if you guys want to follow my Twitter account, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. And obviously, you guys can just look me up over on Twitter. All right, so they say Mass Effect Legendary Edition changes some gratuitous camera shots. BioWare has altered some camera shots from the Mass Effect series for the Mass Effect Legendary Edition remaster package. In an interview with Metro, Mass Effect Legendary Edition's project director, Mark Walters, said that the team changed certain camera angles that were deemed gratuitous. Kevin actually called out some camera cuts that were just, why was that focusing on Miranda's butt? Walters explained. So in some cases, we said, okay, we can make a change there. Elsewhere in the interview, character and environment director Kevin Meeks alluded to another low camera shot where a male shepherd is sat with his legs open. The developers were unable to change the animation itself, but they could alter the position of the camera to change how the shot is framed. If you were wearing a skirt, it would be a bit unflattering, Meeks explained, so we can't necessarily change that animation, but you can raise the camera up slightly to reduce the problem. The developers stopped short of changing character models, and they do say back in 2010. I do think that a lot of things have evolved since the original games, but I don't know if I would say we were ultra concerned about it or anything like that, says Walters. Back in 2010, Mass Effect 2 project director Casey Hudson told Kotaku that one particular gratuitous shot of Miranda's behind was an interesting choice and pointed out how it wasn't easily missed when you see it there that long. Hudson continued. So basically, like, they saw it and they decided to leave it in. So that's pretty much it. I think there was a couple other things that they had said they were going to change too regarding those kind of spicier stuff. It's a difficult thing. Like, I get it in the gaming industry now, and I guess even as like a person, like I could see how you would want to change that if you were a little bit, even if you were like a little bit uncomfortable with it now, or back then, and you looked at it now, and a lot of time has passed, right? And a lot of things can change in your mind or whatever, or you could literally just sit on something and you go back to it and you're like, yeah, that was probably something we should have removed, so we should remove it now. It's a tough one because I don't think it's a. Well, let me make it clear because I don't want anybody to get like the wrong idea. I don't think it's like the biggest thing of mankind. Okay, that they're changing some angles, or and really that's what they're doing. Like, Miranda's still gonna be standing there, but they're gonna be moving the camera up so you don't see the same viewpoint. Okay, and again, you can kind of laugh at it, but like that's kind of what they're doing, right? So they're not massively altering stuff. They're not even, I would say, removing it, because it's an interesting thing, right? They're not technically removing it from the game. They're literally just changing the camera angle because they can't really change what the people are doing in any specific scene, right? So that's kind of an interesting thing. So again, like, the gaming industry, I think, would tear it apart if because you see what the gaming industry is like now. It's complete garbage. I mean, by the way, like the journalists and stuff like that, like they will find anything that really doesn't matter. And that is, I would say that. I would go so far, maybe that's a controversial opinion. I don't think it's a big deal. I think if they kept everything in it, nobody would really have a problem except for a very loud and annoying minority group that would make a really big deal out of it on Twitter. They'd probably have a blue check mark next to their name. They would get a lot of likes from it, from their little echo chamber, and they'd be laughed at by all of us. I think that, I mean, predicting into the future, that's exactly what would have happened if they didn't change anything. So I guess they're bowing, and that's kind of the pull and push, where it's like, I get it, like I see it, I see it from their perspective, but I also, it's a couple things. Number one, I don't love changing the past when it's supposed to be the same game. However, a remaster, you are, I guess, allowed. Obviously, you're allowed, right? But I guess it's like okay for you to change things around. But like changing things for the sake of making people not And again, like who's really going to have the problems here? I do want to make it clear, by the way, it's not like I'm like looking for these things. Like I'm like, dang it, they changed the angle on the male shepherd with his legs apart. Like I was so looking forward to seeing that. You know what I mean? So don't take it in that way. I'm looking at it more from I don't even know how to say it, like a freedom kind of perspective, where it's like they made those choices. And again, they said that like back in 2010, they made those choices. It wasn't easily missed. Like they literally saw it and they decided to keep it in there, right? So they probably did have talks about it and they decided, yeah, it's fine, just leave it in there. Like who cares? And later did they find out, okay, well, a small select group of people care. Really, we shouldn't ever listen to those group of people because they're just not the people that you do listen to. But obviously we're going to now. So that's the up and down. You know what I mean? And by the way, if you do have a problem with it, I'm not saying like you're one of the like just the crazy people that are on the internet. I think there's a certain level of crazy that I'm specifically talking about that I hope none of you guys fall into, okay? And it's not just, by the way, for Mass Effect. It's for a lot of other things in games and politics and stuff like that. But I see it. I understand why they did it. I think, again, it is a creative thing too, where if you do like even something for like a video of mine, say like if I make a video and I make not even a bad choice, but if I make like a choice that's kind of debatable and I'm like, all right, I'll just leave it in, and then I look back on that video in like 2, 3, 4 months and I've heard people talk about it and I've rewatched it and I've thought about it and I was like, I was debating it back then and I'm looking at it now, a lot of time has passed, like maybe and say I was like redoing the video, maybe I would change this or that. And I think there's a creative right to be able to do that. You know what I mean? Again, I would just say the issue here, if there is an issue, if you want to say there is an issue, I think is just the whole being careful not to bow down to that mob, to that very loud, but very small, and really only loud on like a couple websites. So loud is very subjective. If you don't go on certain websites, you will never hear people complaining about it, right? I'd love to be, I've talked about him before. I have a very good friend of mine, okay? His name is Christian, and he plays a lot of games, and him and I have very similar tastes in video games, and he doesn't do this stuff on the internet. He doesn't look any of this stuff up. He watched like one trailer for The Last of Us Part 2 before that game came out. Same thing for like Uncharted 4. Like I wish I could be him, where I could just go in these things completely like outside of this stuff. And he doesn't hear the drama. He doesn't hear any of the nonsense that goes on. And he gets to, and maybe he agrees with some of it, right? But he gets to judge it all on his own. So I do envy that. And I put myself in, by the way, I'm not saying like, woe is me. I put myself in this situation. But it's just interesting how that kind of stuff happens. So hopefully it's just not a sign of them changing things just to appeal to a group of people. That also is honestly not the same, but close to my opinion on the ending of Mass Effect 3, how I actually don't think they should have added, like it was bad, it wasn't a good ending, but I don't know if they should have added, I don't think they should have added more stuff to it, because they basically told people, if you threaten us, if you attack us, if you make a big enough deal about it, we'll just do it. And I think that there were better ways of doing it. You take what they have yelled at you and you improve the next game. The next game better be really good with a much, much better ending. You see what I mean? So, and I get that's not maybe the most popular thing, and maybe people don't agree with me, but that's just, generally I see it, again, it's like creative freedom. If they decided that's what they wanted to do, you have every right to hate it and not like it. And they should probably, because it's your money that you're giving them, they should probably improve in the future. But to edit something that's already been done, especially like that in the game, is setting a bad precedent going forward, right? And so hopefully that something like this is not doing the same thing. So I know that kind of went on a tangent there, but let me know, guys, in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think that this is a good idea? Do you think this is kind of harmless? Do you think maybe this could have bigger like repercussions later on? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. Again, if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, PodcastNow15 is my Twitter handle. Thank you all so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I hope to see you all on the next video.